What's going on, Stick Crew? I'm Finn Van Eekirk, and welcome to our Drops video for Week 4 of Fantasy Hockey. We got quite a few guys to talk about today, all ranging from around the 20% to 50% roster rate. These are just guys that haven't performed up to their expectations. I've been putting out ad videos for the past few weeks, guys that can be making an impact for the rest of the season. So if you're looking for guys to replace these players with, just go back to those videos. Starting off with our first forward and probably our most rostered player is Steven Stamkos from the Nashville Predators. Stammer's 52% rostered, he's on line 2, power play 2, and he's kind of been falling off the past few years. You hate to see it, but since leaving Tampa Bay, he's just not surrounded by nearly as good of players as he was with Kucherov and Braden Point. He had a negative 36 rating last year, and he's at a negative 4 rating so far this year. He's only got 2 points in 10 games, he's getting very inconsistent ice time, and he's just surrounded by bums. There's not really a lot to look forward to on this team. Yossi's been out with an injury too, which isn't helping anything, so there's going to be better guys out there, especially centers on the waiver wire, so I think it's pretty safe to drop him right now. Next forward we have is Frank Vatrano from the Anaheim Ducks. Vatrano's 37% rostered, playing on the second line and top power play, and for some reason people are still rostering this guy. I mentioned him to be a drop a few weeks back. He's got only 1 point in 8 games. He's having horrible ice time, with games even reaching only 11.5 minutes of ice time, which is borderline fourth liner ice time. Once Kreider gets back into the lineup, he's probably going to be moved down once again, and he's going to become irrelevant real soon. There's also some younger guys on the team like Beckett Seneke, who's been looking pretty good so far to start his NHL career, so I just don't have any faith in Vatrano anymore. Next up, we got Zach Bolduc from the Montreal Canadiens. He's 25% rostered, playing on the fourth line and second power play for Montreal. Bolduc started the year with 3 goals in as many games, and since then has really fallen off. His ice time went from being almost at 17 minutes to plummeting all the way down to 10 minutes. It just seems like he's lost his spark, and moving him down to the fourth line gives you zero reason to be rostering him in fantasy right now. Even in a 14-man league, I would still look elsewhere because that deployment isn't going to be getting you a lot of points. His shot volume is all right, but if the kid doesn't start producing, he's just not worth the roster. Next up, I have Logan Stankoven from the Carolina Hurricanes. He's 31% rostered, playing on the second line and second power play, and this one hurts a little bit for me because I drafted him in our 14-man league, but the kid has just not been living up to his potential so far. He's got 4 points in 8 games, with 0 of them on the power play, but he has been shooting the puck quite a lot, and this is a guy that I could see resurging in the future if there's some sort of injury or they shuffle the lines in any sort of way, because he does have that breakout potential, and I do have some faith in him, but as long as he's stuck on the second line and second power play, he's just not going to be getting the ice time, and he's not going to be getting the point exposure to guys like Sebastian Aho. He's not the only one struggling on Carolina. Andrei Svechnikov has been horrible to start the year, and many people are dropping him as well. With somebody like Svechnikov, who is much more proven, I'm not going to tell you to drop him quite yet, but Stankoven, we haven't seen as much of him as we have for Svechnikov. So if you're picking between the two of them, I would rather drop Stankoven just because we haven't had as much volume from him, and he is a bit younger. He's still developing. Since they added Nikolai Ehlers to that lineup, it seems like they're favoring him because of the $51 million contract that they gave him, but he also hasn't been performing either, so who knows what's going on with this team right now. Our last forward is Nino Niederreiter from the Winnipeg Jets. Niederreiter's 19% rostered. He's playing on the third line now, second power play. Not enough usage to be rostered right now in fantasy. He's never really been a big upside guy, so go snag a younger and more exciting option. The only reason I could see you rostering Niederreiter is if somebody in their top 6 is injured and they have to move him up in the lineup. First defenseman we have is Cam Fowler from the St. Louis Blues. Fowler's playing on the top pairing and just got bumped down to second power play for St. Louis with only 2 points in 9 games this season. He's -5 on the year, and him and Falk have been in this flip-flop battle for the past year or two for who's going to be on that top power play, and it just keeps getting uglier and uglier. I don't really love to roster either of these guys. Fowler did have a hot streak last year where he put up a good amount of points, but it just kept going back and forth between these two guys, and honestly, that whole team is just a mess. You also have Robert Thomas, who's been one of their top point producers over the past few years, just go down with injury, and who knows how long he's going to be out for, so that doesn't help your case as well. Fowler's sitting at 49% rostered right now, but I can see that continuing to drop over the next few weeks. His plus minus is going to continue to hurt you throughout the season, so just look for somebody who can get you more consistent points. It doesn't even have to be somebody on a top power play, just somebody with good peripherals and a good plus minus. Next up, we have Zane Parekh from the Calgary Flames. Parek's 32% rostered, playing on the third pairing and second power play for the Flames. You know it's not a good sign when you get announced to the roster and you start the first 2 games of the season as a healthy scratch. A lot of Flames fans have been very disappointed to see the very offensive defenseman not really put up any points for them this year. With only 1 point in 8 games, he's just not proving to be a fantasy asset right off the bat. But that's okay. I can see the kid developing into a real threat in the next few years, but Calgary just has to find their footing. They've been such a bad team this year, and all the goals being scored against them is not going to help him in terms of fantasy. His ice time and his plus minus are god awful, so get him off your team now because he's going to hurt you more than he's going to help you this year. The last defenseman we have is Sam Rinzel from the Chicago Blackhawks. Rinzel's 32% rostered, and he has been that top pairing and top power play guy for the Blackhawks. But in terms of fantasy, he's just put up a bunch of donuts. He's got 3 points in 9 games, with none of those even being on the power play. His peripherals aren't great, and he's just on a super bad team. The team is full of a bunch of young guys trying to find their chemistry right now, and for fantasy, that's just not something I want to bet on. If he starts to heat up at some point throughout the season, he could be a good speculative ad, but for right now, I feel like he'd just be a good ad when Chicago has a good schedule. Our first goalie drop is going to be Sam Montembeault from the Montreal Canadiens. At 69% rostered, Montembeault's put up an ugly .382 goals against average and an .842 save percentage. He's got 2 wins and 5 starts, and it's just looking like Jacob Dobbs has completely stolen that starting role from him. He's just outperforming him in every way, and he's looking like the goalie of the future for Montreal. So it's seeming like Montembeault is going to slide into that backup role in no time, and if that's the case, he's just going to be a streamer on days that Montreal has back-to-backs. Next up, we got Calvin Pickard of the Edmonton Oilers. Pickard's 15% rostered with a .350 goals against average and an .846 save percentage. He's got 2 wins, but it seems like Edmonton's still favoring Stuart Skinner for some reason as the starting goaltender. That team's probably going to trade for somebody before the deadline, so I can see Pickard becoming irrelevant, and he's just going to be a streamer when Edmonton has a good schedule. Last up for goalies, we have is Charlie Lindgren from the Washington Capitals. Last tendy we have is Charlie Lindgren from the Washington Capitals. Lindgren's only 13% rostered with a pretty ugly .372 goals against average and an .882 save percentage. There was a glimmer of hope for Lindgren when he came out of the gates with a 35 save shutout against the Rangers, but since then he's put up 2 stinkers and he's allowed 7 goals to Ottawa in his last game. It's looking like they're going with Logan Thompson and Lindgren every 2 to 3 starts after that. For Lindgren going forward, as long as he's not on a super hot streak or Logan Thompson is injured, he's just going to be looked at as a streamer against some pretty easy matchups. That's going to do it for the drops, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to be putting out a holds video for any of you that are debating dropping some more high profile names out there. So stay tuned for that. Make sure to subscribe and turn on those notifications and follow at The Stick Crew on Instagram and on TikTok. Peace.